Hey there, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome in. Today we are going to be building a little house for Jirachi that is kind of an elevated cloud with a rainbow set of stairs up to it. And then there's a crystal moon on it and a star, which is the actual house, is hanging from that. So this is kind of a speed build, kind of a tutorial. Feel free if you would like to replicate this in your own world. The reason that I don't give item amounts for this tutorial is because if you can't tell with how I'm approaching building the cloud here, it's really kind of me eyeballing this. So in that I didn't really start with specific counts, and I wouldn't know what to tell you. But for this part, especially for the cloud, it does not have to be perfect. It shouldn't be perfect because clouds are not perfect. Just make it round. This is the fluffy flooring, and just make it vaguely cloud shaped with the moon and the star there as well. It's pretty obvious what it's meant to be, I hope. And yeah, it really should not be anything that's following a specific guideline, you know. So here I'm just filling out the cloud downwards just to make it a little bit more three-dimensional. I just wanted to get that initial platform at the top to have a general idea of where I'm putting the moon. And you'll also see that I did this front row of crystal blocks. Those are going to go away. That was only to measure off of my reference pictures, because I did do this build once before taking it down and doing it again on video here for you. Those were for my reference as to how long I needed the cloud to be for the moon to sit on top of it. And here I just fill in the remainder of the cloud there, and we're going to start on the moon here. So we're actually going to make this 5 wide so that the star house can sit in the middle of it. And really I just start with the base here. Again, this is all eyeballed, so you will see me really just winging it in terms of what blocks I put down for the moon and adjusting as I like it. It's supposed to be a crescent moon, but I think I made it a little bit bigger than the last one that I did. So again, I didn't have a clear reference for this. And you also see me building up this first layer before I do any of the other layers, because the other layers are just going to be a copy of this first layer, and I wanted to get the moon shape down before anything else. I love this block. It's so beautiful. I knew eventually I was going to want to use it for something crystal, and the crystal block that they provide us, while it's pretty, it's not, I guess, like not natural looking enough for what I wanted here. And now we're forming the C-shaped portion of this. It's very flat right now. Don't worry about that. I will build it out in a second here. There we go. That's starting to look better, but it's a little bit too flat in this area where I'm adding stuff. So we're getting there. That's looking a lot better. I think at the top here, I needed a little bit more curve, and we're almost there. I think the bottom's still just a little bit too flat for me, so. And it looks like I'm trying to build up that part a little bit more. Oh, that's where I decided that I wanted it to be, this is hard to describe, but 4 wide at this top inner curve of the C, so that the house would hang from a middle block. But then I end up realizing later that the way I'm building the house, it won't look right anyway, because the top of the star is 2 blocks wide, not 1. So it was really for nothing, me extending that moon out farther, but you know. And this whole part is just me, literally me copying the moon that I had built out there and extending it back 5 blocks. Also, if you're interested in replicating this and it's a little too fast, this was a 3-hour process, not sped up. So I'm sorry guys, but I really needed to speed this up for those who just want to watch the build. But for those of you who actually do want to build it, I believe YouTube has a feature in the settings where you can slow down videos, and I absolutely suggest you use that if you'd like to replicate this. It'll be a lot easier for you to follow along. We're at the bottom layer here, filling this out. And voila. Now, what we're gonna do to make it a little less two-dimensional is I'm gonna come along the inner and outer rim of the moon, and I'm gonna delete the single layer of blocks that's there. And this will make it look a lot more, you know, 3-dimensional from the front, and I'll also do this to the back. And you'll see a minute when I back up and look at it. You'll see how that kind of looks. Maybe one of the most important things I learned about when I was building in Minecraft and now building in this game, see, that's the effect versus the back that's still flat. One of the most important things I learned is it's really important to know how to create depth in your builds, because otherwise everything just looks like a cube. So doing tricks like this that, you know, might not necessarily make it look realistic, but makes it look 3-dimensional, are really important for making it pleasing to the eye. All right, and then when we look at it from the front, there we go. We have a mostly 3-dimensional moon. So now I'm starting with the wires that the house will hang from. I realize these look absolutely ridiculous. Holding up what will eventually be a massive house for them. But it's more about the aesthetic. I think I actually run out of wires when I'm trying to build this. And so I'll need to add a wire later. Here is where I realized that even though I made the inner bend of the moon 5 across, the top of the star is 2 blocks wide. So there was no reason for me to make the moon longer, because it would have sat in the middle if I had kept it 4 wide in that curve. So for the front of the star, which is what I'm building out here, this is actually glowing blocks. I didn't want the walls of the house to be glowing blocks. I think that would just be a little bit too tacky. So what I did is the front and the back are fully formed glowing stars. And then the sides, I built the house in between the two stars, and then I covered the sides of the house as much as I could while keeping the star shape. So it looks really convoluted how I'm building it here. This is because I'm going from my previous reference. So a lot of building outwards and then deleting the blocks that I needed to use to get to where I was, but it makes sense eventually. And this is a puffy, cartoonish star. It's not like the proper pointy star. Jirachi, with all of the cute furniture that they have, I felt like this should just be a very cute house. So you could certainly make this into a pointy star if you wanted to. I also played with the idea of making it a kind of a diamond star, but I realized that that would be really hard to make that into a house, so inside of it, so I went with the puffy star, and I'm really happy with it. And you can see here it's starting to come together, and I'm almost the whole way around. There we go. That's our star. It looks weird now because it's hanging not attached to anything, but it will look better once we add the house part, which we're about to do. So I initially go 3 down here, and then I realized very quickly that the bottom, the third block should be a different block, the confectionery block that has the stars on it. And so I delete those and do what I need to do for the walls. And I will add the base layer of the confectionery walls in a minute. When I initially do this box for the house, I made it a little bit too small, and I believe I correct it right away because I can feel that so I correct it right away. It needs to be one more further back. So, like that. Great, now it's the right size. I'm deleting these blocks because I realized that I want the cube light to go the whole way back there. And then we add the confectionery blocks as the base of this wall the whole way around. No, I don't. I was gonna carve out a space for the door, but I think I realized here that I made that wall a little bit too far in as well. So that needs to go out one more. And then we're gonna put the ceiling in, which is the starry wall for obvious reasons, because Jirachi. And it should be on that level. As I said, while I did have an idea of what I was recreating, I really wanted to improve a lot of things. So there's some things I put down and I realized I wanted them a different way, or I put them down because I didn't estimate correctly where things were in my initial picture. It's pretty hard to build off just a picture. Here I build this star shape just backwards anywhere it extends past the boundaries of the house, so that when we're looking at it from an angle, it still kind of has that star shape. And then recreating the front star, you'll see me go around and check the front star a lot in the back. Now, originally, I had the entrance to the house actually go up the rainbow staircase where it is, and then you kind of came around the side of the moon to the back of the house and entered from that way. But I realized that it was also possible to just go straight through the side of the moon, and it really wouldn't affect the visuals of, the star and the moon, which was my main concern. Was once all of the house elements and the entrance elements and the staircases were added, I still wanted it to look like a star and a moon. So going through the side of the moon actually worked out, and I liked it a lot better, so I kept it. At this point, I was still intending to put the entrance in the back. So right around here, you'll see me realize, especially once I start to do the interior, that maybe it would be better if I put the door to the side here. So you see it going through the moon. And as I realized, hey, this actually could work, building up the cloud there, and then trying to make it, again, look more like a cloud. And I fixed a little more here, and then I'll fix it gradually as we go. But I kind of give up on it looking like a round cloud. And like, this is just going to have to be a quote-unquote realistic cloud and not really have a shape. This is the windows going in. And then me realizing that if the entrance isn't going to be in the back, then it should mirror the front so that there's even more room. Where the entrance is on the side, I'm putting in a crystal there. And eventually I will check in the front. I'm not sure how quick it goes by, but eventually I will check in the front if it looks okay, and it does. Again, continuing some of those elements that extend past the box of the house so that it looks as much like a star from most angles as possible. I fill in that part with plaster because I don't need to waste cube lights on something that can't be seen. I fill those in so that I believe so that the cube light doesn't show on the inside. I want it to look like a normal house on the inside. Other than, you know, the starry floor and ceiling. Looking great so far, and I'm really happy with how, despite the fact that the moon now connects to it, that it doesn't look, and I'm clearing it out even a little bit more, so that it doesn't look like the moon is too connected to the star on the bottom, if that makes sense. Building out this cloud a little bit more because to the left there is where you go up to enter. You'll see me refusing to make more fluffy flooring and just taking it from other parts, but eventually I will make more fluffy blocks here, because I just don't have enough to be taking from other parts of the build. And then I'm just making that part a little bit more rough, not so uniform. Also because I'm going to be adding flowers and things on the cloud. I know it doesn't really make sense that there's flowers on the cloud, but I'm doing it anyway. I want them to be at different levels and not just uniform across. Again, we are creating depth. Here, just normal cube lights to light the staircase up. And then we're going to start adding some decoration on the outside. So my main thing was I wanted to get these crystals placed first so I didn't forget, because I did in my first build. and I think they add a lot. And then we're gonna add some shrubs to make sure, quote unquote, that people don't fall off the back. Not like, you know, if they really wanted to, that it would stop them, but. And we're just adding some cute flowers all around. I really like to add vegetation, especially if I'm adding vegetation to look more like natural and rough instead of like all perfectly placed, to put each type of flower all across where I'm building and then switch to another flower so that I can evenly distribute everything. I also really wanted to keep the pastel aesthetic here, so I only used flowers that mostly matched the pastel colors that we were seeing in the furniture or in the mysterious stone. And then we add some pathway blocks, mostly just to really make stand out like where you're supposed to be going to enter this house. It may also help the Pokemon path. I didn't try it out yet. One of the most important things that I wanted to make use of in this build were the star meteor lamps, because they fit so well with Jirachi literally being basically a star. So you'll see me use every color of these, and right now they don't have power because I don't have the generator set up, but that is the next thing that I will do, I believe. Yep. So right now, I also realized that it would be a really cool effect if I had some of the star lamps floating out around the moon, especially at night, because you can't see the back, you know, the handle that makes it obvious that they're floating. They just look like stars. So you'll see me building out, placing them, and then if you delete the blocks under them, they should float there. And as long as you don't put them too far out, your wireless transmitter should extend to them. It gives it a really fun, mystical look. Looks a little silly now without the lamps being powered on. I promise it gets better. Now I'm placing a bunch of wireless transmitters throughout, especially this upper part of the moon, so that the lamps will be powered once I add generators. If you have a consistent power system through wherever you're building this and you can connect the generators to that, that seems like a great way. I did not have any power source under this, so I just decided to use mini generators. I've been trying to move away from that, given the limits on generators, and that, you know, the furnace is the best, most sustaining power source out of them. But for this, and with the fact that it's floating, I just found it easier to hide them within the build. You'll see me play with this for a bit. I'm trying to get the right combination of transmitters close to the generator to get those lamps to turn on, and they're not turning it on. And I even put one down there to see if it's connecting to that one, and it's not. So that one's powering on. So I'm sitting here at that moment being like, why are they not turning on? Now that finally connected them, except that one lamp at the edge there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add a wireless transmitter right there where it will extend far enough, and then I just add some blocks to cover it up. Nobody's going to be going up there, so you won't really be able to see it. Now that those are on, add another crystal for good measure. And we're gonna go inside and start decorating. The first thing I do is get those windows painted. The main pane is yellow to kind of fit in with the rest of the outside of the house. And then the border is actually, I believe, the cyan color. And I did that because I wanted it to kind of match with the fact that the light cubes have that border around all of them. Now we're gonna put some of Jirachi's furniture in. Actually, this build makes use of every single piece of furniture that Jirachi has. And some of this furniture placement is really me eyeballing it and placing it for the first time, because remember, I had the entrance in the back in my first build. So I'm kind of rearranging things as we go for the fact really that we have more space now to put other things. Originally I put that telescope outside, and then I realized that we have this nice little ledge in the window where we can put it and you can actually look outside of it. And it's actually pretty cool. So we're putting these frames up, and I fill some of them. My intent with the frames is to frame Stardust, a wish tag, which I think both of those things get framed in this video, and then I get a shining wish tag and put that in one of the frames, and I get a star piece and put it in one of the frames. Here it told me that I needed more electricity to run everything, so I'm just fixing that. And now the disco balls are working. Jirachi likes it bright, so I had no fear in adding more light sources to this build. I decide to put the cannon out here, and while you can't see the cool cloud details in it very well, I am aware that if people come to your island, I heard something about even if you have it on spectator mode, people being able to load the cannon and destroy things. So I'm facing it towards the ocean in an abundance of caution. I was going to go with the other star pattern for this, but then I realized that it kind of matches the starry floor and ceiling that I have in there, and it ties it together, so I decided to keep it. It is significantly darker than most of the other furniture in there, but I decide that I like it. Here, if you want to place these curtains where I place them, you're going to have to put blocks there, place the curtain, delete the blocks, put your furniture back, and then you can place the other curtain easily because it connects to the other rod. But I also like that because it's like a little secret front area where you can use the telescope. I realize on the sides of the table I would like some seats. Originally, I thought that we were going to be able to put a pattern on the fabric of those seats, and I was incorrect, but I still like how they ended up eventually. I do wish we had a star cushion, though. That would be very cute. I realized when I put those down initially that the color doesn't quite match some of the other furniture, so I changed the blue to cyan. And we are about done here. Just add a final touch there. Move the frame to make it a little more symmetrical in there. And eventually I'm going to put in that frame a picture of the night sky, but I did not have one like I thought I did. So this last part is just me filling this cloud out a little bit more. And then the final thing that I do is I know I need to put something on top of these light blocks leading on either side of the rainbow steps. So I 3D print some more hedges in the colors that I want and put those on top. And then for some reason I forget that the entire border of those stairs is cube lights, and I'm like, oh, I need light here. And so I experiment with making these little lamp posts. So they do look good if you want a shorter street light situation than the ones that they give you. And what I realized is I wanted to put lights beside the doors here, so I removed those hedges and end up putting my little mini street lights there. And there we are. That's all for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you're new here, don't be a stranger anymore. Hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and a comment. I will see you guys next time. I can't wait to show you what I create.